Hey everyone, it is Daki and thank you for coming back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the Frost Mage, and in particular the Frost Mage changes. We're going to have a quick look at the talents, or what has been added and removed to the talent list, and then we're just going to quickly talk about how the Frost Mage is going to become in battle for Azeroth. So there's a little bit to talk about here, guys, nothing major. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Frost Mage is going to end up being a very cool spec to play in Battle for Azeroth. So join me and let's have a look at the changes, or the first look at changes in the Frost Mage. Alright everyone, so let's jump straight in and have a look at some of these Frost Mage changes. So I'm going to put up on the screen right now a couple of the legendary changes and the artifact weapon changes, the ones that they are taking directly out of the artifact and legendaries and placing into talents or abilities. I'm going to put that up on screen there now so you guys can just have a quick overview that there are a couple of abilities they're taking out of Legion for the Frost Mage and placing straight into talents or abilities, which is very, very cool. So as we move on to the actual Frost Mage changes here, guys, there's only a couple that we really need to pay attention to. There's probably only 3 here that really affect the spec overall, but it's not a negative, it is a positive at the end of the day. So let's have a quick look at them. And the first one is the Water Jet ability, which is used by your Water Elemental. Well, that's getting completely removed. And that comes as no surprise, as it wasn't a highly used talent, or an ability really. When you had a look at World of Warcraft logs under Frost Mages, and you had a look at the used abilities, and even looked at their pet abilities, Water Jet I couldn't find quite often. Maybe that was because I just couldn't find it, but in overall, guys, it wasn't even an ability I used, so it's getting completely removed. Now, the next one that you need to pay a little bit of attention to is the freeze ability. So your Water Elemental used to freeze enemies in place, which it still does now in Battle for Azeroth. However, it used to generate Fingers of Frost procs by how many targets it hit. Well, it no longer generates Freezes of Frost proc. It just simply freezes them in place. So this is nor a good thing or a bad thing. I'm glad that they are still keeping the ability to freeze enemies in case you need to burn them down or kite them, or, you know, in PvP. But they're not generating Fingers of Frost anymore. And that to me seems like, hey, they're taking the focus out of the Water Elemental. So moving down, the last change realistically is your Icicles, your Mastery here, guys. So your old Mastery, whenever you dealt damage with Frostbolt, a certain portion of that damage was stored in the form of an Icicle hovering above your head, and you could store up to 5 of these Icicles, and you could use those Icicles by Ice Lancing. Now, in the old Mastery, the second portion of your Mastery was that it increased the damage of your Water Elemental by a certain percent. Well, your new Mastery is very much the same. It's very close. So casting Frostbolt or Flurry will grant you an Icicle. So overall, just on that first topic, it could generate a lot more Icicles, which overall can generate more damage, providing you have enough Mastery. So the second part of the new Mastery is that it increases the Frozen Orb damage by a certain percent. So ultimately, they're taking out the ability for you to generate more damage with your Water Elemental and putting it in with Frozen Orb. Now, is this a good or a bad change to your Mastery? Well, it is a good change because you are generating more Icicles with both Frostbolt and Flurry, so you're generating more there. But you're also increasing the damage of your Frozen Orb. Now, your Frozen Orb was generally used quite a lot on pack mobs. So when you consider your Water Elemental's only good for baseline damage, as it just does a standard amount of damage throughout the whole dungeon or the raid, your Frozen Orb can increase your mass or your burst AoE damage. So overall, is the new Mastery good? It is good. However, I am still not particularly happy that Blizzard are taking the focus away from your Water Elemental. But that's a topic for another day. So moving down, guys, let's have a look at the removed and added talents here. So the removed talents, you've got Arctic Gale, Frost Bomb, and Unstable Magic. Now, it comes as no surprise that Frost Bomb is being removed, as it once again was a spell or an ability that I used a little bit, but never got the handle on it, and never really paid attention to it that often. The added abilities here, guys, you've got Chain Reaction, Ebb and Bolt, and Freezing Rain. And you might be looking at these going, hang on, these sound familiar, and you would be absolutely correct. Chain Reaction is straight out of a legendary. I believe it's the Braces. Ebb and Bolt and Freezing Rain are straight out of your artifact weapon, and they are plucked straight from Legion and placed straight into talents for Battle for Azeroth. Guys, that are the changes. So there's not a huge amount of changes. There are a little bits here and there. So let's jump straight across and have a look at the talents here, guys. So your level 15 talents, you have Bone Chilling, Lonely Winter, and Ice Nova. I'm not going to really touch on some of these abilities that are kept identical. I will point out the differences though. So for level 15, the only change is that Ice Nova has been moved up the ranks into level 15 here. So level 30, Glacial Installation, Shimmer, and Ice Flows, all three are exactly the same as of Legion. Level 45, you have Incanter's Flow, Mirror Image, and Rune of Power. Once again, all three are identical. There probably is amongst all this a couple of percent changes or time scale changes here, guys, but the ability stays the same. Level 60, you have Frozen Touch, Chain Reaction, and Ebon Bolt, and there are a couple of changes on this row. Your Frozen Touch now, Frostbolt generate or grants you Fingers of Frost and Brain Freeze 20% more often. Chain Reaction is Chain Reaction. Obviously, it is Ice Lances against a frozen target. Increase the damage of your Ice Lances by 3% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. That is the legendary ability that's been taken out of Legion. And Ebon Bolt. Ebon Bolt is obviously Ebon Bolt that comes straight from your artifact weapon and is put straight into your talents. Not much to be said there. Level 75, you got Frigid Winds, Ice Wood, and Ring of Frost. Identical to Legion, guys. Nothing to be said there as well. Level 90, you have Freezing Rain, Splitting Ice, and Comet Storm. Now, this is by far an AoE row. Obviously, this will increase your AoE ability. So Freezing Rain, your Frozen Orb makes Blizzard instant cast, and it increases its damage by 35% for 12 seconds. Splitting Ice is Splitting Ice and was very solid talent in Legion. And Comet Storm is Comet Storm, where it calls down some comets and does some burst AoE on the ground. Now level 100, this is where there's only one real big change here, guys. So Thermal Void, Ray of Frost, and Glacial Spike. And as you can see, the only change there is your Ray of Frost. It's been brought from level 15 down to level 100. Now, I am very happy that Blizzard have put Ray of Frost and Glacial Spike on the same talent row. I think that should have always been in Legion, but hey, it's good that they've kept it there anyway. Well, guys, that is the very first look at the Frost Mage changes leading into Battle for Azeroth. Now, I do know that is beta, and I do know that there are a couple of changes to come, but most of the changes are going to be set around the Dispel power changes, the time changes, GCD changes, not necessarily the talents and the overall layout of the spec. So how do I find, or where do I find Frost Mage to land in Battle for Azeroth? Well, it's a solid spec, and it's going to be a solid spec in Battle for Azeroth. The rotation is quite linear, the damage output is very predictable. It is a very versatile spec with kiting. I think overall it's going to be a very awesome spec in Battle for Azeroth, and I'm going to be playing this in Battle for Azeroth as well, alongside, say, the Arcane Mage. So overall, guys, thank you so much for watching these videos. There is a Discord link in the description down below, and if you wish to join that Discord, please do so. If not, don't worry about it. But hey guys, look, thank you for watching these videos again, and if you have anything to say about these videos, how I can improve, leave a comment down below, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. It's the only way I know how to improve on these videos. But overall, guys, thank you so much for this, and have a great day.